We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Kathopanishad, the second chapter, and today we will start the second section. So, as you all know, Nachiketa is the student, and Lord Yamadharma Raja, who is the controller of death, he is the teacher. In this second section, there are 15 verses, and primarily this section is divided into two topics. One is what happens after death to the soul. And then the next second topic is what is the swarupam of the soul when it merges with Brahman. Very important section in the second section. But before that, these two topics, there are some preliminary verses which talk about the nature of Atma. Atma is our real nature. Body is not our real nature. Mind is not our real nature. When I say Atma, immediately you should say it is a consciousness, awareness principle. That is the Adhishtanam. That is the substratum for this body. While it is alive, it is there, body is also not there. That is the teaching. Kathopanishad says that there is something after death. What is it? What is there after death of the body? That is what is being discussed. What is there after the death of the body is also there right now. When the body is alive, it is the very substratum of the body. It is the very substratum of the entire universe. That is how all the Upanishads, they declare this unique entity or reality. That is the reality. Whereas whatever we experience in our life, the body, the mind, the sense organs, the world, all this, they say is a category called mithya. Mithya means it appears to be there, but factually it is not there. What is the best example of mithya? The best example of mithya is dream. While being a dreamer, I experience the dream world as real. So similarly, the Upanishad says, while experiencing the waking world, I experience the waking world as real. When I wake up from the dream, I say the dream is unreal. When you wake up from the dream, it's called you are a waker. Similarly, when you wake up from the Jagrata Avastha to your higher nature, which is the nature of Atma, from the Atma standpoint, Atma alone is. This is a concept which is discussed in all the Upanishads. Our gross mind may not be able to understand this concept very easily. Therefore, we will say, it doesn't strike to us. Is it possible? Is it really there? These are the questions which all students have. To get rid of this doubt is the teaching. With this small introduction, let me go to the verse number 1 of the second chapter, second section. And in this verse, the uh, verse in this particular verse, the introduction is about the body, which consists of 11 doors. Let me first play the verse and then we'll go to the meaning of the verse.
पुरमेकादशद्वारम् अजस्यावक्त्रचेतसः अनुष्ठायन शोचते विमुक्तश्च विमुच्यते एतद्वैतत्
So this is a continuation of the Etad Vaitad portion which we have discussed in the previous chapter. Etad Vaitad. There are 12 times this Etad Vaitad is repeated. 12 verses are there in which there is repetition of Etad Vaitad. Etad Vaitad means what? Oh, Nachiketa, this is what you wanted to know. I am explaining to you what you wanted to know. So Yamadharmaraja says, this is that Atma which you want to know. Now, what is that Atma? That Atma is always there. It is Nityaha. Puram Ekadasha Dwaram. This body is having 11 gates. Like you have a fort can have 11 doors for entry and for exit. Similarly, this body has got 11 doors by which a jiva functions in the world. Beyond these doors, there is a indweller in the body. That is called as the soul of the body. That soul is a mixture of consciousness and mind. Our job is to remove or to understand the nature of the mind and the nature of the consciousness. Segregate the two. Then what we do? Then we own up the consciousness portion as I, the Atma. Today, the I is mixed up with the gross body. I look at my body and say, I was born. Body is born, but not the soul, not the jiva. Jiva is mind plus chit abhasa, the reflected consciousness. Beyond that, there is a consciousness which is called as original consciousness. What is the constituents of the body? The constituents of the body is the head, the nadhi, brahmarendram, and organs of evacuation. These are the four main portions of the body. The head portion consists of 7 doors. The 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the 2 nostrils, and the mouth. Through these organs, transactions take place for the jiva. What Yamadharmaraja is doing is he is trying to segregate the Indriyam, the Sthula Shariram, Manaha, and reflected consciousness and consciousness. The objective is this because it's all mixed up today. When I say I look at my body, I say I am working, I'm walking, I'm eating, I'm singing, all that. But that is the body. It is not the consciousness. It is a mixture. So the second portion is the organs of evacuation. There are two organs of evacuation. Then there is Nadi. Nadi is the navel. It is operational when the mother is feeding the child in the womb. That is also one of the doors. Then there is a door which most of us we don't know. That is called as Brahmarendram. It is in the top of the skull. If you touch the skull of a newborn baby, you can find that portion to be extremely soft. The skull portion, there will be one portion, they say there is a small hole there through which the jiva leaves the body at the time of death. The yogis are able to use that when they want to leave the body. If you are an expert in yoga and you are expert in pranamaya, that means you are in control of the breath. You can direct the breath through the skull and reach the heaven. Only yogis can do that. Not all. Normally for us, we leave the body through the other doors. Body is like a kingdom. In India had 56 kingdoms before independence. And each of the the kingdom was ruled by a king. It was the ruler. He had his own independent state. Now, the king in the body is the Swami, is the master, the one who controls, the one who has taken up this body is called as the Swami. And this Swami exists. Where does he exist? They say that he exists in the Hridayam. Hridayam means heart, the physical heart. That is where it is the locus of the mind. In Shiva Manasa Puja, so now what we have done, we have identified the body, we have identified the doors in the body, we have said there is an indweller who is the Jiva, which is the Jiva is nothing but a reflection of consciousness in the body. That consciousness existence principle is all pervading. Everywhere in the universe it is there. But suppose I want to reach that consciousness, I have to go inward looking for it in my mind. This is a very beautiful meditation which is there in the Stotram. The fourth mantra I have put here, Shiva Manasa Puja. Here, the five pranas, how to look at the Lord who is present in this body. When you meditate, what do? You say the pancha pranas, which I have. The one prana gets divided into dhyana, samana, udana, all that you know, tathobodha. So that one prana gets divided. This house is the house of the five pranas. The five pranas are the attendants of the soul, attendants of this Atma in the body. So this Atma, which is all pervading, it is there in mind, it is there in my heart, it is there. Therefore, I can close my eyes and pray to that Lord who is present inside the mind. You can do an archana. You can do a flower archana for the Lord mentally. And here it says, when I walk around, it is walking around with you inside. I am doing a pradakshana for you. When I walk, it is not a normal walk. I am doing a walk which is a pradakshana for the Lord who is present inside. And all the pranas are doing oblations to you. Even all the sense organs, when they bring the objects, they're all doing the oblations of archana to you. So this is a devotion in praise of the Lord who is present in the heart. Our body is like an industry. The heart, the kidney, they are continuously producing, not objects, but what is required for the body to survive. The karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, they are also working for whom? They are working for the soul. They are working for the jiva who is present in the body. They say that the 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 nutrition travels through the primary roads of arteries and the blood vessels and capillaries to keep this, to maintain the body. Body requires strength. Body requires nutrition. Without nutrition, it cannot survive. The jnana indriyas are taken up as gates, entrance gates. All the five sense objects, they enter through the jnana indriyas into the mind. What does the role of a karma indriya? The organs of action. The organs of action are the exit gates. That means once I have gotten, if I want to go out again, I use the exit gates. Only the mouth is both an entry and an exit gate. It is an entry gate and exit gate. It can be used for verbal transactions. It can be used for eating. Sarva karmani manasa sanyaste rashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanda karaya. Bhagavad Gita, the 5th chapter, Navadvare pure dehi. Here we talk of 11 doors. In the Bhagavad Gita, we talk of 9 doors. There, 2 doors are dropped. The Nabhi and the Brahmarendram is dropped because generally it is not functional. Therefore, they use 9 doors in the Bhagavad Gita. Same concept. See, the concept is that there is a live, sentient jiva in this inert body. The sthula shariram is inert. Nothing happens to sthula shariram when it is burnt. Nothing happens to the jiva. Now, who is the jiva? What is the description of this jiva? You can discriminate the jiva with the body when you understand the nature of the two entities. Jiva is unborn, birthless. That we have discussed in the first chapter, second section, the 18th mantra. Najayate mriyate va vipaschit nayam kutaschinna babhuva kaschit ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha na hanyate hanyamane sharire. This is the verse in the Kathopanishad. It is also there in the Bhagavad Gita, the 20th verse of the second chapter. What is this jiva? It is jiva is awareness, consciousness principle. Again and again, throughout Kathopanishad, remember this. Whenever we talk about the jiva, the original nature of jiva, it is consciousness. Body has got asti, jayate, vardate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. Six modifications which is explained in Tattva Bodha. Vakram Puram, Avakram Chaitanya. Vakram Puram means what? Body is with modifications. Chaitanyam, consciousness, is without modifications. It is body is perishable. Chaitanyam, consciousness, is imperishable. The awareness in us does not undergo any change since birth till today and in future also. Even when you drop the body, the awareness principle is a changeless phenomenon. To understand this awareness principle is the study of all the Upanishads. That is the aim of our life. So instead of claiming the body as myself, I have to claim that consciousness inside this body, which is called as Dehi, it is called as Shariri, it is not Shariram, it is not Deha, but it is Dehi Shariri. It is a training of mind. As we study the Upanishad, even in Mandukya Upanishad, when we study tomorrow, every time we have to remember, I am the consciousness, which is Nityaha, it is changeless. Why is it Nityaha? Why is it permanent? Because it is changeless. It does not have any modification. Through Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasnam, I learn to claim this consciousness as my real nature. Nirvana Shatkam is a beautiful set of verses for meditation where we drop all the external gestures and claim Atma as my real nature. Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham. In this first mantra of Nirvana Shatkam, Manobuddhi Ahankara Chittani Naham न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योम भूमिर्न तेजो न vayu chidananda rupam. So I am not the sense organs, I am not the gross body, I am not even the mind, I am not even the buddhi. I am pure consciousness. This same meaning is discussed in the first mantra of the second section. If I come to know this consciousness as my real self, what will I get? This is the question even Arjuna had. Arjuna was suffering from sorrow, grief, and depression. And Vedanta gives a solution for all three. Ashojananya shochaswan prajnabadam shabashase gatasuna gatasumsha nanu shochanti panditaha. The 11th mantra of the Bhagavad Gita clearly tells me that I should never worry about anything in life. Worry is samsara. Worry is adhyasa. It is a superimposition on Atma. Vimuktaha bhavataha. Vimuktaha bhavataha means the knowledge of Atma gives me moksha here and now. Other religions, they say you go to heaven, you will get freedom. You can enjoy a lot of pleasures in the heaven. Those are all benefits of other religions. What does Vedanta teach you? Vedanta says you are free to enjoy your freedom here and now. After death, what happens if you have this knowledge? If you have this knowledge, punar vritti abhava. That means you will not be born again. If you have this knowledge, I am the pure Atma, I am the consciousness, and you should never be able to doubt it. See, that is where you should. That is what is called as Drida Nishchaya. Firm knowledge, never shaken by any doubt, any experience of any event in the world should not shake this truth which you claim. Puraswami is that changeless awareness. In this body, there is a consciousness principle. That is what you wanted to know. Nachiketa, you asked me the two questions. Again and again during the study, we had to remember those two questions. What are the two questions? First chapter, first section, 20th verse. When a person is dead, is there anything after death? The next question is Anyatra dharma, Anyatra adharma, Anyatra asmat krita krita. That means beyond cause and effect, beyond good and evil, beyond past and future, is there anything at all? This is the answer to that question. Etad Vaitat. So whenever you see this Etad Vaitat, you should connect with these two questions. Whenever you see the word 12 times, this question is answered, Etad Vaitat. This is what you wanted to know, and you should be able to remember this nature of. Now let us go to the next verse.
हंसः शुचिसद् वसुरन्तरिक्षसद् हंस शुचिसद् वसुरन्तरिक्षसद् होता वेदिसद् अतिथिर्दुरोणसत् होता वेदिसत् अतिथिर्दुरोणसत् नृसत् वरसत् ऋतसद् व्योमसत् नृसद् वरसद् ऋतसद् व्योमसत् अब्जगोजा ऋतजा अब्दगोजा ऋतजा अद्रिजा ऋतं बृहत् अद्रिजा ऋतं बृहत्.
The central message of the second verse is Atma Ekatvam. In the first verse, what we discussed was Atmanaha Deha Vyatiriktaha. Atma is different than the body. The body is got 11 doors, but Atma is the indweller, but it is of a different nature. It is the spirit inside the body. Body is material, matter. The spirit is inside the body, is the explanation of the first verse. This spirit, this Atma, is it one or is it many? Does each body have got one Atma? Can I count there are 7 billion people on the earth? Therefore, there are 7 billion Atmas. Atma is only one, but its reflections are many. The gross body is a reflection. The world is a reflection in Atma. The thoughts are reflection in Atma. Atma is one, consciousness is one. But whenever the thoughts arise in the mind, then I say, I am this body. That I which arises up in the body is a upadhi. It is a chaya. We have seen this in the first chapter. So what it says in the second verse is, there is only one Atma. Where did we study this one Atma principle? All of you, you have done Bhagavad Gita. You will remember in the 13th chapter, the third verse. In the 13th chapter, the third verse, it says clearly that there is only one knower of the field. Kshetram is the universe. The knower of the Kshetram is one. So in this second verse, there is only one Atma. That is what is established. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharat. Kshetra kshetrajnayo jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama. That knowledge which deals with the knower of the field, that is my knowledge. Each body does not have one Atma. There is one Atma in which all the bodies they exist. What are the different bodies which are possible? It is mentioned in the verse. In the second verse, it says there are three types of bodies. Abja, Goja, Adrija. Abja means bodies which are born in water, like fish, aquatic animals, and plants. Goja means that which are born on the earth. So, what is born on the water? What is born on the earth? These are living beings also, like the plants, the trees. They are born on the earth. Then what is the third one? Adrija. Adrija means they are born in the rivers, in the sacrificial, in the mountains. For example, rivers are born. That is also considered to be a living body. Hamsa Shuchisar. That is the word which is coming in the mantra. Hamsa has got three meanings. A swan is called as Hamsa. Suryaha, he is also called as Hamsa. That is what the meaning you have to take here. A Jnani is also called as Hamsa. Andakaraha hanti nashiyanti iti Hamsa. The ignorance, the darkness of ignorance, Mula Vidya, once this is removed, then one becomes a Jnani. Hamsa is that which does not have any darkness. Vasyati sarvam iti vasuhu. Atma exists in the form of the wind, it exists in the form of the space, it exists in the form of the fire, the Panchabhutas basically. Surya, Vayu, Agni, the Devatas, they're all nothing but this Atma principle. The human beings are also the same Atma principle. Atma can be in the form of a Devata, it can be in the form of a human being, Atma can be in the form of plant, animals, birds, insects. So, the covering is Upadi, but the content is Atma. And this Atma, which is the content, never has birth, it never has death. It is always existing. That is the essence behind the second verse. So the second verse says it is one Atma in which all bodies are born and the bodies they perish. Like the space in which the pots are born. When the pot is born, we say there is pot space. Similarly, when the body is born, we say Atma is enveloped in this body. Try to understand. But envelopment is not real, it is only seeming. So if I know the original consciousness, which is manifesting in different bodies, that is the teaching of the Veda. Knowing that consciousness is that by that. Okay. Now let's go to the third verse.
ऊर्ध्वं प्राणम् उन्नयते ऊर्ध्वं प्राणम् उन्नयति अपानं प्रत्यगस्यति अपानं प्रत्यगस्यति मध्ये वामनमासीनं मध्ये वामनम् आसीनं विश्वे देवा उपासते विश्वे देवा उपासते.
This Atma is in the center of all the bodies. It is the inner essence, the life principle because of which this entire world is experienced. So here the importance is given to the prana which is surviving because of the existence of Atma. Urdhvam pranam unnayati. Our prana in this body is functioning because it is powered by Atma. Inhalation, exhalation, apana, samana, udana, all the functions of the prana, they take place because there is a reflection of consciousness in them. So whenever you see living beings, you must remember there is a consciousness which is activating the body. Suppose the bulb is there and you don't switch on the electricity, the bulb will not glow. You switch on the electricity, the bulb will glow, the mic will magnify the sound, your mobile will work, everything works. So behind each of them, there is a activating principle. That activating principle, Vishwe Devaha Upasate, that activating principle is called as Atma. The five sense organs, they bring five sense objects into the body, into the mind. And inside the mind, this Atma is seated. In the Antakaranam, the Atma is seated. Now, where can I locate or experience this consciousness? Can I locate it in the outside world, which is inert in nature? No. Outside in the world, there is a Sat principle which is existence principle. But if I want to know that existence principle inside this body, it can be known only in one way. And that is, look at your mind. When your mind is active, ask the question, what activates this mind? What activates this mind is called as consciousness. It is this consciousness, as soon as I wake up in the morning, a reflection of the original consciousness, all pervading consciousness, it comes and activates my mind, and immediately my mind distributes that consciousness to the body. And then I start perceiving the world. I see my body, I see the world around my room, I can see all the objects. But the power behind this body is this Atma is this pure consciousness, which is the central, essential teaching of Kathopanishad. Atma blesses the Sukshma Shariram by lending the consciousness. When it lends the consciousness, it is called as what? Chit Abhasa. Abhasa means reflection. So, mind is the only subtle instrument which can take the reflection of the Atma. For example, if you have a dark room, you might have known this phenomena. This example has come in Atma Bodha also. If there is a dark room and you want to illumine the dark room, you have a method of taking a small mirror outside the dark room, take a reflection of the sun, and then point it towards the dark room will get illuminated. So similarly, this mind is the mirror which illumines the dark sense organs. When we are sleeping, the mind is not active. The mind mirror is not active. It is passive. Therefore, even if the consciousness is there, but the mind is inactive, your body and your sense organs are not able to perceive the world. It's just an illustration. So this Atma is responsible for the operation of the subtle body. The subtle body, remember, consists of 17 organs, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, pancha pranas, and these are the 15. And then manas and buddhi, 17. So if your body is functioning, it means consciousness is getting reflected in this body. The reflected medium, when it quits the body, then the body falls. Then find the example of reflected consciousness in the Bhagavad Gita. Is there something called as a reflection of consciousness in this body? Bhagavad Gita, the 15th chapter, very beautiful chapter says, Mamaivamshe jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manashashtanendriyani prakritistani karshati. This verse is very, very important to understand the concept of Atma, concept of consciousness in the body. Bhagavan says, a small portion of my own nature gets reflected in all the bodies which are made up of Prakriti. Prakriti means nature of 5 elements. By nature, they are the Jada. But when I am reflecting in them, they get enlivened. I am the blessing Chidabhasa. Every jiva has got the consciousness, but we are not aware of it unless and until you come to the study of Kathopanishad and you study these type of mantras in the Bhagavad Gita. Then it strikes you, oh, there is something which is there which I don't know. See, this consciousness is an invisible principle. Mind is also invisible. Both are invisible. Therefore, it becomes very difficult for us to understand clearly how this functions. Through the body's function, we have to derive the nature of consciousness. Our breathing is there throughout our life. And breathing also stops. When the breathing stops, we don't know what really happens. Kathopanishad gives a beautiful example and he says, whenever the breath is stopped, that means the reflected consciousness is not there. That means the mind has left the body. When we try to understand Vedanta, we have to understand in four stages. First, we have to understand what is Atma, what is Anat. Atma means the spiritual principle, the consciousness principle, the sentient principle, awareness principle. Anatma means the Jada Tattva, the inert body which is made up of Panchabhutas. So, first level is discriminate Atma and Anatma. Anatma is insentient, Atma is sentient. Sentient is called as Shariri, insentient is called as Shariram. So, first stage is there are two things. Dvaita. What is the second stage? Second stage is I learn to say I am the invisible Atma. Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya. Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, we have done meditation on this also. So I every time I look at myself, I say I am the invisible consciousness. I am not the body. I am not the seen. Seen is drishya. Seen is mithya. It is appears, but it is not existent. It is not independently existent. So second stage is what I learn to say I am the pure consciousness, invisible consciousness. What is the third stage of understanding this whole principle of Atma? I am not the consciousness of one body, but I am behind all the bodies. There are two mantras which I will show you later on in the next slide. Manisha Panchakam and Dakshinamurti Stotram. There are two beautiful mantras. Try to understand all these things of teachings of Vedanta becomes very clear. That is the third stage. I am the consciousness behind all the bodies. I am the Sat principle behind the entire universe. And the last stage is very, very difficult, but it is the truth. What is the truth? The truth is that the entire world is not an independently existing principle. It depends on this consciousness, which is the substratum. World is Mithya, I the consciousness, Aham Satyam. When I am there, the world is experience. When I means what? I is not the body, I is the consciousness. Chaitanyam without the body, mind, sense organs is my real nature. See, right now the consciousness is mixed with the body and the universe. Mentally, I have to remove this body as if I'm going to the sleep state. In the sleep state, there is no body, there is no mind, there is no world. But I have to mentally do that in the waking state. That one is then then what happens? I remove the world from my awareness and hold on to the pure awareness as my real nature. That is what is being discovered by the Nachiketa in this Kathopanishad, the second chapter. I quoted this mantra, Vasamsi Jinana Yatha Vihaya. This is 22nd verse of the second chapter. Just like a man casts off his dresses, similarly, the jiva keeps on changing dresses of the body. Why? Because whatever he had a purpose with this body, he has fulfilled. Then he takes another body, another body. But who is the one? What is the one which gives the body? It is karma. Karma and karma phalam gives him the body. Who gives the body? Ishvara. Okay. But I am the indweller consciousness. How do I come to know? Through Kathopanishad, through the Bhagavad Gita, I come to know I am not the body, I am not the mind, which is the medium in which this consciousness expresses itself. Manisha Panchakam, the first verse, very beautiful verse, it says that the pure consciousness shines in all the three states: waking state, deep dream state, and deep sleep state. How does it shine? It shines as the witness of this entire universe. The bodies are coming, the universes are coming, but ultimately, consciousness never changes. That is Manisha Panchakam. Dakshinamurti Stotram, I have covered this before. I have also taught this 8th mantra before. Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya Saswami Sambandataha Shishya Tatha Tataiva Pituputran. So, what does this word say? It says that the world is nothing but cause and effect. You look at anything in the universe, always you will find the world is an effect, there is a cause behind it. But what is the central cause? What is the unique cause? That is Purusha Tattva. There is one Purusha, one sentient principle, which is the cause of this entire universe, that is beautifully explained in this Dakshinamurti Stotram. I just quoted this so that you can link all this study with the Kathopanishad. Now let us go to the fourth mantra.
अस्य विश्रंसमानस्य शरीरस्थस्य देहिनः देहाद्विमुच्यमानस्य किमत्र परिशिष्यते एतद्वैतत्
Again, etat vaitat. Whenever you hear this etat vaitat, you must remember that the verse is talking about art. So here, what does it say? The same, whatever was discussed in the third shloka, that is the Anvaya portion. Here it is Vyatireka. When reflected consciousness is there, life is there. That is said in the third verse. When the reflected consciousness in the mind is not there, then the body is dead. That is said in the fourth. So always what is there? Consciousness. That is what you have to derive. Always consciousness is there. Mind is something which comes and goes. In our waking state and dream state, the mind is active and semi-active. In the deep sleep state, it becomes passive. There is a stage in which the mind is not passive. Mind leaves the body. This is what is called as death. Throughout this Kathopanishad, you will be able to understand the principle of death. What happens to me? What happens to an individual jiva during death? Chidabhasa Rupa Atma is the indweller. So, first of all, I should understand that there is a body, there is a chit, and there is a chit abhasa. Chit is the pure consciousness. Abhasa is the reflection in mind. So, third verse says, when the reflected consciousness is there, life is there. Fourth verse is saying, when the reflected consciousness, which is in the reflecting medium, the medium is not there, that person is dead. That is Dehat vimuche manasya. When the mind gets separated from this consciousness, then the person is said to be dead. Kim atra parisishyate? Kim atra parisishyate? There is no one to answer in that body. That intellectual personality which was working very hard in this life, so many things he did, success, so many, he has achieved so much of success in life. Human beings have achieved so much success. They've gone to the moon. Astronauts have gone to the moon. They've gone. So many successes are there. You take each individual in his own lifetime, he has had several successes. Even if he's the common man, in his own life he has had several successes. But that success is all dependent on this consciousness principle. The moment this consciousness reflection leaves the body, then the success is gone. Body is nothing but made up of five bhutas, panchabhutas. Etadvaita, Nachiketa saying, being taught, Nachiketa, you had those two questions. What remains when the body is dead? That was the first question which he asked. What remains? This is that consciousness which remains. There is no death for this consciousness. It is always there. Knowing this, I will get immortality. In Upanishad, there is the last section, 3 verses, very beautiful verses in the 6th chapter, which talks about how does a seeker gain immortality. See, today we all think I am a mortal body. I am mortal by nature. But Upanishad clearly says you are not mortal. Body is mortal. The container is mortal. Content is immortal. Content is this consciousness. The same thing Nachiketa is being taught here. Content of the body, content of the mind is immortal. It never dies, it never perishes. That is the message in the Bhagavad Gita also. Najayate priyate va. Najayate means what? It is never born. What is never born means it is always there. Born means it is gone. Etad vaitad. This consciousness which blesses the life in a body is the Brahman, is that Turiyam, which you wanted to know. In Mandukya Upanishad, the 7th mantra we are learning on Sundays. The 7th mantra is the same as what is Etad Vaitad. Those who are attending both the talks of Katho and Mandukya, Etad Vaitad is Turiyam, Turiya, which remains. Then always it is there. Waking also it is there, dream also it is there, sleep also it is there. Before the birth of the body it is there, after the death of the body it is there. That is what Nachiketa wanted to know. All these verses are again and again teaching us that tattva, which is that immortal tattvam. Knowing this immortality itself is moksha. That is the real freedom which every seeker wants to attain. Now let's go to the 5th chapter.
न प्राणेन न अपानेन न प्राणेन न अपानेन मर्त्यो जीवति कश्चन मर्त्यो जीवति कश्चन इतरेण तु जीवन्ति इतरेण तु जीवन्ति यस्मिन्नेता उपाश्रितौ यस्मिन्नेता उपाश्रितौ.
common belief in the society, in the world, is we are all alive because of our prana. But what Upanishad says is prana is born from, it is a product, it is a karya. What is the karanam? Atma is the karana. So here, this is the proof. This is the praman. To say that one does not live by the prana, one lives by something which on which the prana is dependent on, which is called as atma. The pranena panena mrityo jivati kaschana. By prana, one does not live. One lives because of the consciousness. So what leaves the body is the reflection of that consciousness together with the 17 organs. This is the 5 pranas, 5 jnana indriyas, 5 karma indriyas, manas and intellect, which I talked to you before. So how do I know that this consciousness is there? Consciousness is there. The only proof is whenever the body is breathing, prana is jadam by nature, but consciousness is making it sentient. Prana means the breath principle. It doesn't, it is jada. It is born. So it will keep on changing. It is anityam. But what is nityam? There is a consciousness which empowers this prana. So it is this prana is like the mirror. You remove the prana, the body falls. With the prana, the body is sentient. It can work. It can do so many activities. So the role of prana is actually prana here is a symbol of the entire subtle body. That means the prana, the pancha prana, pancha jnanendriyas, all this together here is called as the prana. And this prana borrows consciousness from Atma. Like the mirror, it borrows this light from the sun and then it throws on the room. Similarly, our prana, our mind, they borrow consciousness. Prana by itself does not make the body alive. Prana has no life of its own. It is the consciousness which is reflected in the prana that keeps the body alive. That is the essence of this particular verse. Prana and apana are dependent on this consciousness to become sentient. See, sentient means you become aware. Like you are all aware right now of the Shabda. I'm speaking, you're listening. So, what is it which is listening to this talk? It is this consciousness. By what principle do I speak out these words? It is this consciousness. Is your consciousness and my consciousness different? No, it is one consciousness in which this vyavahara of speaking and listening is going on. Try to understand that. It is one awareness. It is always there. It is nitya. There is no depth for the awareness. Knowing that Chaitanyam, Atma is immortal, Amritatvam, I also claim myself to be Amrita because it is a reflection. When I remove the medium, there is only pure consciousness, which is always there. Samashti Rajas Amsha is this Prana Tattva. Prana is born from where? Samashti Rajas. From Samashti Sattva, what is born? Mind. Samashti Rajas, what is born? Prana. At the total level, there is a reflection. At the individual level of the body, also, there is a reflection of consciousness. Prana is only a medium. Like the mind, when the mind leaves, it will take the prana away because mind and prana are interconnected. At death, what goes away? The medium goes away. Prana and the mind, they leave. And then what remains is this Atma alone remains, is the truth. See how beautiful this Kathopanishad is, so systematically, step by step. The Lord teaches Nachiketa how I can understand this consciousness principle and do the viveka. Viveka means discrimination. When you listen to this verses, what happens in your mind is a knowledge takes place, a vritti comes into your mind, a thought comes to your mind of Atma. And that is called as Atmakara vritti. That Atmakara vritti has the power to remove the darkness of avidya from your mind. Avidya means ignorance about yourself. Our mind has got ignorance today. It has got avidya. How to remove that avidya? By throwing the light of Atma in that mind. Let us now proceed to the next verse, sixth verse.
हन्तत इदं प्रवक्ष्यामि हन्तत इदं प्रवक्ष्यामि गुह्यं ब्रह्मा सनातनं गुह्यं ब्रह्मा सनातनं यथा च मरणं प्राप्य यथा च मरणं प्राप्य आत्मा भवति गौतमा आत्मा भवति गौतमा.
So, sixth verse is a small introduction to what is going to come from the seventh verse to the 15th verse. What Nachiketa will be taught. Lord Yamadharmaraja is introducing in the sixth verse. What does he say? Oh Gautama. Gautama means, oh Nachiketa, now I'm going to explain to you that mysterious and ancient Brahman, that consciousness principle. I'm going to explain to you. Listen very carefully. Don't doze off right now because I'm going to teach you something very important. I'm also going to teach you this what happens to the soul when it dies. Both I'm going to explain to you. Now pay attention. That is what he says in this particular verse. I'm going to tell you the eternal secret. Guhya Guhyatamam. The most secret thing in this entire universe. Nobody knows this because it is hidden in the Veda. You are a great student. You have come to this class. You have come to me and to understand this great secret of life. I will teach you. There is nothing in the world which can teach you what happens after death. Only I can teach you. The Veda can teach you. So listen carefully. I will tell you there are two topics which I'm going to cover. From the seventh verse till the end of this section, second section of the second chapter. After this, there is one more section. So right now, the balance verses, the total verses are 50. We have done the sixth verse. Seventh verse will tell you what happens to the soul after death. And the eighth mantra to the 15th mantra will tell you the nature of this Brahman, the nature of this consciousness. The nature is Durvigneyatva, very, very subtle, invisible nature. So listen carefully from the seventh verse onwards. The seventh verse is a very important verse. It tells us what happens after the death of our current body. Do we take a body or do we become free? If I'm a jnani, I will become free. I will not have rebirth. If I'm ajnani, I will have, for sure, there will be a rebirth. That is what is said in the seventh verse. So in the seventh verse, rebirth is told to Nachiketa in different bodies. And from 8th verse to the 15th verse, suppose you know that you are the pure consciousness, you are a jnani, you become free. And the nature of that jnani is mentioned from the 8th verse to the 15th verse. Now let us see the 7th verse.
योनिमन्ये प्रपद्यन्ते योनिमन्ये प्रपद्यन्ते शरीरत्वाय देहिनः शरीरत्वाय देहिनः स्थाणुमन्येऽनुसंयन्ति स्थाणुमन्येऽनुसंयन्ति यथा कर्म यथा श्रुतम् यथा कर्म यथा श्रुतम्.
The entire life principle on earth, the law of karma, the law of rebirth, is packed in this one verse of Kathopanishad. This is the pramana. If somebody asks you, is there rebirth in this world? When one body dies, what happens to the body? If you say that body will be born again, if you want to say where it is where it is mentioned in the Veda, you have to come to this verse. Yoni manne prapadyante sharirastvaya dehinaha. Some souls enter the womb to have a body. That means they become Manusha Sharira. Some souls they become plants. Some souls they become Devatas. Some souls they become animals, birds, insects. All depends on what? It depends on what is the karma and what is the karma phala, which you have to enjoy in your next birth. So the law of karma, where is it explained? This verse. And what happens to a jnani also explained in this verse. So from this verse onwards, pay attention. You will try to get the full knowledge of rebirth and also of moksha. If you are a jnani, you get moksha. That means you don't take rebirth into another body. Because you know that there is no body even in this birth. While you are in this body itself, you come to realize, I am the birthless Atma. Jnani says the sthula shariram goes to unmanifest condition and the sthula shariram comes into manifest condition. But I am not the sthula shariram. Whereas the ignorant mind always says that there is body which is always manifest. He doesn't know about the stula shariram being unmanifest. He knows that it is the it is the shariram is me according to the ajnana. Here there is a comparison being made between a jnani and an ajnani. Now, when an individual understands the Upanishad, what happens to him? The sthula sharira merges with the sthula prapancha, which is Virat, according to the Mandukya. Sukshma prapancha, sukshma shariram merges with the Hiranyagarbha, which is the total body or total mind in the prapancha, in the world, in the universe. How does this dissolution take place? Like an iceberg merges into the ocean. There is hardly any activity. Slowly, you'll find the iceberg melts away. So, all the bodies of a wise people, they merge with the totality, and there is no more punarjanma for a jnani. That is the most important thing for us, because we are all jnanis. We are all understanding there is Atma, and I am that Atma. In the case of Ajnani, what happens? That Sthula Shariram is gone. What remains? Sukshma Shariram and Karana Shariram remain. They are with the reflected consciousness. That means they are alive. What is alive? The mind, the prana, that is alive without the container. Atma remains. Atma is there all the time. But there is a punarjanma for a ajnani. Now, why does this happen? This is the way the world is. The world tells us there is a moksha and there is bandha. Bandha means I don't know myself, my real nature. Therefore, I take another body. Punarjanma can be in a devata sharira, which is a superior body. Manushya shariram, which is a mixture. Inferior, inferior shariram, which is the plant and animals and asuras. The prime proof for rebirth and for these kinds of birth is the Shastra. We can use logic as a support, but Shastra is the primary praman. What is the meaning of samsara? Samsara means moving up and down, moving in a zigzag manner. Samsarati, constantly moving. From what to what? One body after another body, another body, another body, another body. That is what is called as samsara. Samsara is dukham. Samsara is punya papam. Or samsara can be defined in different ways. But the real meaning of samsara means I am changing the body every now and continuously. It's a cycle. What determines this samsara? It is not God. It is not Bhagavan. Then he will be a partial. To some people, he will give good shariram. To some people, he will give a bad shariram. So, what determines this verse says it is punya papa karma and karma phala. You may not know this. That is what is an ajnani. But suppose you come to know this as in Prashno Upanishad, very beautiful mantra in the third chapter, the seventh mantra, which says, according to the karma, you take the next birth. According to your punya papam, you get your new body. This is the proof. Prashno Upanishad, which is a commentary on Mundaka Upanishad. So Mundaka Upanishad, Prashno Upanishad, Kathopanishad, all three are talking about rebirth. They're all pramanams for another birth. Bhagavad Gita is also a pramanam. 14th chapter, 18th verse. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastaha मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जगन्यगुणवृत्तस्ता अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. A person who is sattvic by nature, he goes to higher wombs. A person who is rajasic is in the Manushya Janma. A person who is tamasic is born as a plant or animal or a bird or a mosquito. Can you see how many pramans are given now? This particular verse in Kathopanishad, then Prashnopanishad, then Bhagavad Gita. There are many verses in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, also talking about this entire rebirth means what? Law of karma. Yonim anye prapadyante. This is coming in the verse. We enter the world according to the body. We entered the world means what? If I am in a particular shariram, see the sukham and dukkham in a different bodies are different. In the insect body, it will be limited sukham dukkha. In a manushya janma, there will be more sukham dukkha. Devata shariram, there is so much of pleasure. So bodies are perceptible to us. Sometimes they are not perceptible to us. Indra shariram is not perceptible to me, but it exists. So Brahma Sutra says Devata guides us during the travel of a Ajnani Jiva. Chapter 3 of Brahma Sutra, it tells you what are the Devatas. Even in Bhagavad Gita, in the 8th chapter, it tells that there are Uttarayana Devatas, there are different types of Devatas which guide the Jiva till it takes the next birth in another body. Jangama Shariram means moving. Bodies which are birds, animals. Sthavara means the one which is the like a plant or like a tree. It doesn't it moves in the wind, but it is sthanam. Sthanam means it is stationary. So what type of body you get depends on the karma. Finally, it's the karma. How much is the interval between the two janmas? Again, it depends on the karma. It depends on your purva karma. Some karmas will take some more time to take rebirth. But some karmas, because the appropriate environment is required. Sarvasya chaham vidhi sannivishtaha matha smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarverahamera vedyah vedanta kritvami divideva chaham. I am there in the heart of all the jivas. Lord says, I am there. I am the one which is known in all the Vedas. What is that? This Atma. This Atma blesses a person with both memory as well as forgetfulness. Suppose you have a bad memory. It is this Atma only which is telling you that this is your memory is not working. But don't worry about it. Memory is there, memory is not there. It's not a big thing. You should say, what is the sakshi of that memory? What is the sakshi of that forgetfulness? I am that sakshi. 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also talks about the Atma, which is present in the past, present, and future. Nobody knows this Atma unless you come to the study of the Veda. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejanyante kalevaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever your mind thinks about, at the time of leaving this body, you will be born as per that. The last thought decides your next birth. That is said in the Bhagavad Gita. If you think about the Lord, if you think about Om, before leaving the body, you just say Om. You must remember, I must chant Om. That's very, very important. Om means it is the name of God. Whatever is your preoccupation throughout your life, that will be your thought at the end of the life. So, what does it say? Do Ishvara Chintanam, Ishvara Aikyam will take place at the end of your life. So, this verse, number 7, is a very important verse for those people who want to know, number 1, is there life after death? Second, what determines that life? What type of birth will I have? Is all dependent on what action you do in this life. Okay? So from the 8th verse onwards, we are going to discuss about the nature of this Purusha Tattvam, nature of Turiyam, nature of Brahman. From the 8th verse to the 15th verse. So next week, we are going to start this section, very important section of Kathopanishad, and it is Brahma Swarupam. Whenever you get a chance to listen to the Brahma Swarupam, you should never miss it. It is the pramanam for our own real nature. Okay. So with this, I will close Kathopanishad for today. We'll continue it next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If you have any questions, you can put in the chat box. Or if you want to ask a question, you can unmute yourself and then ask your questions if you have anything on today's topic, preferably, or general topics if you have.
Abhishekaji,
Bolo, Bhavan.
just now you were saying, is there anything beyond cause and effect?
Yes.
So, what we mean by anything beyond cause and effect?
Yeah, beyond cause and effect means, for example, you are the cause of your son. Your son is the cause of his son or daughter. So this is a cycle. Cause, effect, cause, effect. So your son is an effect, you are the cause. You are the effect, your father is the cause. So similarly, so this is the cause and effect which we are seeing in our normal transactions. Now, this Nachiketa, the 8-year-old boy, he wanted to know, is there anything which is beyond this cause and effect? Because everything in the world I see, that it has a cause. For a mango tree, there is a mango seed. For a coconut tree, there is a coconut seed. For all the human beings, for all the animals, for all the birds, there is a cause. So anything which I see with my eyes, it has got a cause, and I see everything as an effect. Effect means product. So, is there anything? Is there anything? Because yeah, cause effect means it is only in this Vyavahara where there is a Janma, there is a birth, there is a death. So, if I want to know who I am, living in this time, in this world, of seeing things which is born and gone, born and gone. You see, so many people live, so many people die in the past, in the present, in the future. This is something which is always there in this world. But
Mhm.
now you want to know, is there anything beyond this change? See, cause and effect is only a change. A seed
Mhm.
becomes a tree, a plant and a tree. There's a change in the seed, it becomes a plant, it becomes a tree. Now,
Mhm.
this is an eternal cycle.
Mhm.
Now, you want to know, is there anything beyond this?
Mhm.
This, all the Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, they tell us there is something, and that is called as Atma.
Mhm.
Atma means it is pure consciousness, pure awareness. That means it is Bhagavan, it is the Lord, it is God. I can't see God because it is pure, it is formless, but it exists. You see, suppose there is something called formless. For example, the whole world exists in space. Space is formless. In formless space, the whole world is there. But the space itself is born from this Atma.
Mhm.
So this is what is the knowledge part of it. Now, how do I realize this in myself? When I go to sleep every day, I lose my individuality. In my sleep, am I Babu Bhai? Am I 80 years old? Am I a wise person? Am I intelligent person? Am I a Buddhu? Nothing like that. In my
Mhm.
sleep, I am pure Ananda. I am pure blissful.
Mhm.
That is the experience of all, not only you, but everybody.
Mhm.
Now, is that my real nature or this my real nature when I'm looking at my body and I'm saying that I'm young, I'm old, I'm 50 years, 80 years, I'm fair, I'm dark, I'm intelligent, I'm dull. All this is only when you are seeing your body.
Mhm.
So drop your identification with this body, and
Mhm.
then you say, I am that pure Atma, which I am every day. Every day is my experience. Not only for you, but every listener of this talk, wherever he is situated, that is his Swarupa.
Mhm.
That is what Lord Yamadharmaraja, the Lord of Death, he is teaching you that you are not the body. You are the Atma, which is covered by this body.
Mhm.
Remove the covering and see yourself. Then you're free. So that
Mhm.
is that Atma is beyond cause and effect. Now you
Mhm.
understand?
Yes, interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good question. Good. Anybody else? Anything on today's meditation or on or on the talk which we have on the first 7, 8 verses of this second section? What we are covering is a very beautiful portion of Kathopanishad. Continue it next week. You will really enjoy, because every time when you listen to this Atma principle, make a note of it, understand, dwell on it, if you, whatever time you have. See, our life is full of our own activities. But in spite of that, if you can spend some time, at least when you are there in the class, you will spend time listening to it. That is the first point. So that itself is the first step.
Right. How you put the speed? Not cool. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else has Shanmugam? Can you off the mute the Bauwai's speaker. Okay. If there are no other questions, okay, Shama is asking something. Okay, go ahead, Shama.
I was at Shekharji, Hari Om.
Yeah, Hari Om, tell me.
Sorry, Shekharji, I was trying to write what I was thinking.
Yeah,
And I'm very, very sorry, but today's I don't know, suddenly I feel quite disillusioned with whole of the teachings in the Vedantic scriptures and all this karmas and karma phalas and the Jivan Mrityu and all that. And
yeah,
because when you sort of watch helplessly, to me, the crime against women, and the most recent one, of course, which the whole world has heard and known about it. And so what happened in India in Mahabharata, where all of these 5 Pandavas, the bravest of brave, all the wise and strong people like Bhishma and everybody sat and watched helplessly a very respectable woman being publicly disrobed. Nothing has changed, and I sometimes feel very, very upset that it has to do somewhere. We have a life-denying philosophy in our Vedas, which is, so supreme, so beyond. It's definitely a kind of a life-denying philosophy, where we are thinking of the next life and whatever, but how do we live our present life? Which can we just say, oh, it's all karma phalas. So this poor doctor woman who was doing her night duty, it was her karmas, and I cannot imagine what kind of a karmas would she have done in all of her collected previous lives to have actually been subjected to such tragedy. I mean, it's just unbelievable that, a great nation. I am really sorry, Shekharji, is probably not the right place at all. But I just somehow can't help sharing my sentiments, and especially when we talk about Janma Mrityu and Karma Phalas. So
yeah,
that's all I
yeah,
have to say.
Shama, what you are experiencing is absolutely perfectly all right, because we are all exposed to the media. We're all exposed to what's happening in today's world. Definitely, what is happening is not correct. Now, there are so many things which are happening which is beyond our control. See, there is a government in India, there is a police force. They will have to look at it. I don't have a direct control over it. So the way I look at it is, in such situations, there is only a prayer which can help. You know, in future, in our current circumstances, there are so many situations which are uncontrollable situations. This is one of them. It is this is this is one of them, and therefore I do understand your feelings towards what you have read in the you have seen in the media. But one thing is there, when it comes to Vedanta, when you come to Vedanta, look at this as what you're seeing is uh, one of the experiences. There are so many different horrible experiences. Like there could be a tsunami where there's so many people are killed. Earthquake in Japan, where so many thousands are killed. Innocent children are killed. So death is there as a part and parcel of life.
It's Shekharji, it's not death. Death obviously is a very normal
Yeah,
phenomenon.
not only
But
death.
is the subjected, how can life be? And I really feel whole of the Indian history as to how we have been enslaved by so many rulers. And, it's just almost somewhere we can deny that what is a good living or a good conduct living because of our philosophy, which we hold so dearly, which is all about beyond death is like what will be attaining. But this current life, everybody, and this is only a tip of the iceberg. I mean, this is just a very tip of the iceberg. And in a very small, ordinary way, I know how women are treated, as a completely sex objects or something like that. Sorry, I think I should just shut up.
Yeah, Shama, I understand your emotions. And like I said, let us look at it in a different way. And maybe we can have a separate talk on this.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else has a question on today's talk?
Yeah, because I saw one sentence where we were saying, Shekharji Venkatesh here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because some souls get into wombs and become human life. Some souls get into become plants.
Devatas,
Some
yes.
souls become birds. So that's a little conflicting with whatever we are discussing now. So is there a particular way to understand that?
Yeah. You see, what they are saying is the soul is the same in all of them. The body, the container, is different in different species. Now, Devata Shariram, it's also there. That means there is a law of karma. What you need to understand is the law of karma, which is the result of which gives the result as a sharira. See, when you do good karmas, this is a simple way of understanding why I am born with a good body. Forget about the other bodies. There are some people who are born with a sick body right at the birth itself. There are some people who are healthy, but they get a sick body at a very young age. Now, but why does all this happen? What the law of karma says is, as per what your good actions and bad actions, you get your body. You again go through sukham and dukham, limited way, and then you take another body. So the question you are asking is why insect body and why a manusha body, why a devata body? The answer to that is in your previous body, what have you done? Which you don't know, Ishvara knows, and that is what guides the law of karma. It's simple. For example, what have you done throughout this life? If you understand, if you analyze yourself, your body is inert. It is changing rapidly. Young body, 10-year-old body, 25-year-old body, 40-year-old body. What is changing inside this body? The changing in this body is our thoughts. Our thoughts. Watch it from morning to night. What type of thoughts did you have morning to night? It is the same continuously, same type of thoughts are coming again and again, again and again. And it is this thought which determines whether you are having a good life of punya karma or a sorrowful life of papa karma. Suppose you see, most of us, our life is a mixture. You live in a good place, you live in a good environment, you have a lot of money, you can still be having sorrow in life. There are a lot of people that sorrow or joy which you enjoy throughout your life is determined only by karma and karma phala, which you can also vouch for. You can also logically understand, yes, there is some law, you live to the law. You see, you don't have to understand all the laws. You say there is some law which is governing my life in this body. And similarly, the same law governs a life in the body of another person also, another species also. Whenever you see different bodies, you say, yes, these are all as per the law of karma. Are you able to understand, Venkatesh?
Yeah, of course. But probably what I was getting confused was with that expression. Probably that is a figurative way of telling that. So one has to understand it in a figurative manner. That some souls enter womb and become body, human body. Some souls become plant. It is not to understand in a scientific logical manner. It is more of figuratively understand that I have to go through that presentation once again, today's presentation,
Again,
how that
see,
sequentially
yeah,
it goes.
yeah. You see, you go through the presentation again. Here, normally there are four types of births which are possible. One is through the moisture, which is through the insects. Insect and mosquitoes are coming through the moisture. Second is egg-born, like reptiles and so on. They are egg-born, like many creatures are egg-born. Then there
Yeah.
is womb-born, and then there is earth-born. Earth-born is all the trees and plants. Womb-born means manushas and other animals which are also womb-born. So these are the different ways in which birth takes place in this universe. Now, what Veda says is, whatever, all these are pranis, all these are living beings, all these are having some amount of uh, consciousness, awareness in them. The amount of consciousness, awareness enjoyed by all these four types of births is different. And even inside each birth, there is differences in the body-mind complex. All this, what the Upanishad is saying is, it is determined by your past karma and karma para. It is not only said in Kathopanishad. When you study the Upanishad, in the 6th chapter of Upanishad, the same thing is said. So for law of karma, Kathopanishad, the 7th mantra of this section which we did, and Upanishad, these are pramanams. These are the sources. Even in Bharadanika Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, different Upanishad, you will, when you read the Upanishads, you will understand that the law of karma is also accepted in the Veda to explain to us the differences in our experiences. See, your experiences are different than my experiences. But what makes this experience different? It is the software. It is the thought process. It is your thoughts make you different. My thought makes me different. Sumana's thoughts makes her different, and Ganesha's thoughts make him different. In the body is only an external container. But really, what happens is there is an element of joy and sorrow. That is the end result which gives you which is the end result of punyam and papa. You may do different types of actions. You may have different siblings. You may have different children. Now, children are also part of this law of karma only. Through them, you get happiness. Through the children, you get happiness. Again, it all comes to the law of karma. Go through it a little bit more as you study Upanishads. You will understand this law better. But this law is meant for a junior student. Don't go too much into depth of the study because there's no end to this law of karma. Keep it at side and then become a senior student and say, is there anything beyond this law of karma? And that is this Atma principle.
Okay.
Your focus should be more on the study of Atma. when you study the law of karma, it's only to understand the life, the way you see life of the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Venkatesh. So if there are no other questions, we will stop today and then continue Kathopanishad. Tomorrow there will be a class on the Mandukya Upanishad as usual. Thank you and namaste to all of you.
Namaste.
Have a great day. Thank you.
धन्यवाद
Namaste. Hari Om.
हरि ओम धन्यवाद
Hari Om.